Alright folks, welcome back everyone. 皆さんお帰りなさい。今日は316日目です。It's day 316. We are a day out from our second half of level 30. Looks like we have a few little things here and there. They're probably the Wednesday lessons that got moved around. And then we have our 73 items. There are 4 other items in Apprentice which deals with the moving and additions and whatnot that the content team is working on. Right, shouldn't be too bad. Yesterday was pretty good. We had about 60 to 70% implicit stuff. Like implicitly recognizable. And then there were like 2 or 3 exceptions. So pretty quick yesterday. Very quick yesterday.
Yokin.
Whoops, I added an E. What?
遊園地
That was a typo. Oh, I don't want to talk about that typo either. Shinkon Ryoko. Ryoko. Oh, Shinkon Ryoko. Oh, hey, it works now. The pitch accent thing works. Nice. It fixed itself. I didn't even do anything. Thank you to whoever is maintaining it. It kind of looks nice too. Huh. I think it looks a little bit different. Neat. I didn't do anything. Thank you to whoever is maintaining that script. Maybe I'll find out. Look in the thread. I didn't see an update to it. Huh. What a pleasant surprise.
Kawaku.
Hello there, Danny. How are you doing? How has life been treating you? Whoops. Kekkon.
結婚 鉄作
Isaku. You've been sick. Hopefully you're on the mends. May I ask, what do you do when you're sick? What is your go-to routine? Hopefully someone is there to also help you recover. Decorate. Choku. Kazaru?
飾る
Kazaru.
Kokki.
Koki. You just take a break from drawing and take it easy? Okay. What do you do for... Do you rest? What do you usually do? Chill, vibe, potato. What do you eat when you're sick? And obviously it really depends on the type of sick. You could have a stomach virus for all I know. Common cold? It is that kind of year. It is that time of year. Hopefully you're on the mends. Nice warm suit. You have a fever. Oh, okay. Hopefully your constitution is not too delicate. Does this happen often?
Koeru.
What do you?
Yokugetsu.
Not really. Only around this time sometimes, not always. Okay. Alright. Well, hopefully you're prepared for it when it usually is around this time. It's kind of it's that time of year. I imagine you are able to still get to work, or are you also taking a break from work when you're sick? I'm not sure if that's an option or not.
快感
Icon. Break? Okay, okay. Hopefully that doesn't impact your work and whatnot, being sick. Sawagu.
騒ぐ
You just asked for your 2 days off early. Okay, should be fine. Alright, alright. I got you, I got you.
購買
Oh, bye. How did I do boo? Not? So like... asobu.
遊ぶ
Asobu. Will I draw today? I'm not drawing anymore for like a while. There might be a chance that I find ways to do something, but yeah. I hope I was being pretty clear about the Inktober thing. I typically don't draw outside of October. So it was very serendipitous that we met. Well, maybe not serendipitous. It's probably more so the whole timing thing. Yeah, it's serendipitous. It was pretty much the timing thing that we came across each other when I was drawing. But 99% of the times that I'm drawing is during October. However, occasionally, I understand it's the reason you followed, right? So, fair enough. We'll keep each other motivated, right? There's still many other things we can, like, I can continue talking about your work, so hopefully you keep working on that, right? I could share something about artwork right now, and it's not so much about doing artwork, but I'm a little bit late today because I was taking a chance again on people, right? Artwork is not the first thing, but I can explain to you why artwork is part of my like routine. I don't know if you get solicited for artwork, but this happens a lot when you when you are like a content creator, I guess I'll say content creator. I don't really consider myself as a content creator, but more of a journalist. So this happens quite a lot, especially if you've done live streaming or content creation in any way for an extended amount of time. I would say within the year, you would probably encounter a solicitation. And solicitation usually deals with artwork. And artwork often deals with the aspects of content creation. So we're talking about like badges, VTuber rigs, emotes. So this is where digital entry art happens. It's the digital entry art. And when you met me, the beginning of my art journey started with this. So I wanted to understand how digital artwork works. Like, what is the entry level? The reason why I started live streaming, right? Live streaming is to understand, to participate, so that I can understand what to say and talk about when human behavior. And that also includes artwork. When you start live streaming and become a content creator, or quote unquote partake in content creation, remember that all of these things are my hobbies, right? I don't do these professionally. So I wanted to understand that, and that also involves doing digital artwork. And you can fast forward, we'll cut it short, a little shorter today. So the digital artwork, if you fast forward 7 years, then naturally the person who's live streaming, who wants to understand what goes into content creation and whatnot, they would develop the skills for digital artwork. And that's where you and I come in. This is when I met you. And the reason why I do digital artwork is to understand the current landscape of digital artwork while doing other things. So it's often due to the nature of trying to understand what it is, right? Like the properties, who's doing it, and then we can talk about it. So when I met you, I had a lot of things that I can share with you, talk about the habit formations, the problem solving skills and whatnot, dealing with digital artwork as a hobby or a passion project, because I did the digital artwork myself. And the reason why this came up is I was a little bit late, because every so often I will bump into someone who solicits art. And I use that as an opportunity to see if I can invest in someone's artwork. Unfortunately, the usual case is this person is looking to provide what I want. So me specifically, right? And unfortunately, this is where we get into my commentary and the things that I talk about vlogs, like on it brings me to the main focus of my stream. I invest in people. I'm not looking for people to invest in me, but if they do invest in me, they have to prove it. And I spent about an hour today, which I should have started an hour and a half or two. It's part of the 6 hours of yap that I put aside for each day. I spent an hour to give this person the opportunity to either sell me something of theirs, so of them, or they can try to follow through and follow on the promise that they said that they understand me, and convince me that. So in the long run, it was more number one than number two, but they keep doubling down on number two. This is where I wanted to spend some time with them, but I don't think it's very appropriate because they didn't ask for it. When they solicit someone and they say they have something that they understand about me or able to understand me, then you follow through. You tell your client what you know about them. Like, what do you know about me? Right? The problem with this is this is the strategy that most art solicitation starts with. But really, in the long run, they are referring to the artwork they have to offer. right? It is the service they have to offer. So I switched the script and I asked them, may I see credentials and public accessibility of your work? And if you're curious about this person's work, I told this person, like, thank you for your time. I hope that you understand that I'll be using this as an example online. A way to repay your time with me is that I can share your artwork with other people. Just like, which brings us to you and me, Danny. Whenever you post something, talk about things, if we know each other, I will be talking about it because you and I talk to each other. And that's what I want to do with creating content. It's the idea that people talk to each other and they spend time knowing what's going on. And by happenstance, I like to express the people that I know or came into contact with. So if you're interested in taking a look at what their artwork is like, she goes under Marie's Lauren across her public channels. So I think I looked at her Instagram. I looked at her ArtStation. I didn't even know ArtStation was a thing. So I learned a little bit about ArtStation. I was looking for Instagram. She has an Instagram under this name. And maybe some other things. She has a Twitch channel that's inactive. So this is what I mean by professionalism. So I talked about it, and she was very courteous and tried to match my energy. The idea is I don't necessarily think she understands, in my opinion, that I told her that I focus on communication skills and like business transactions and critical thinking skills. So one part of sharing this is that I'm using it for my purpose. So this is my purpose. I want to demonstrate to at least whoever, like Danny, you're going to pitch. Eventually, you're going to pitch flowers to someone, right? And hopefully, it's in a professional capacity. You approach like a professional artist and like other professional artists and other professional publications. This is like bottom barrel. Like, this is someone who is creating a side hustle, probably relatively young, in my opinion. Young in terms of experience, not like I don't know their age or anything, because they don't publicize that, right? So the more information they are willing to place in front of their public image is how you're going to get business if you don't care about your client. So I asked her for her public thing. And now hear me out. There are plenty of red flags along the way. She used an alt account to DM me, and she did the DMing and then adding me as a friend without establishing rapport. There are many red flags. So what I do is I try to spend the time and communicate with them and give them the opportunity to either do what they're going to do and say they're going to do, which they didn't. And then instead, I reverse the role and ask them for the information that I'm pretty sure they think would help me make my decision. So if you're ever interested in what their art looks like, I'm going to tell you now, I'm not a digital artist, right? I don't consider myself as a regular digital artist. And I've worked across 4 years in Inktober. But the stuff that she makes and publicly make, I already do. It took me less than a month to adapt those skills. Now, I'm not here to compare the capacity of artwork. I'm here to invest in someone. Unfortunately, this is lost in communication because this person knows nothing about me. They didn't attempt to even try. Like, I think I know more about this person through her public work and looking for it, which, by the way, you can't see because she's on an alt account. And then she has like a main account, quote unquote main account, that has a username that is not linked to her public image. So if you're an artist, you want to make, and you're selling something, and which makes you a quote unquote a future professional, right? You have to make sure all of these things are together. Like, if you're asking me, hey, would you be interested in my art? The first thing and minimum thing that I would expect is I can click on something and I can see it. Because otherwise, it is up to you, the artist, to demonstrate that you already invested in me. So not only did this person not know anything about me, they keep thinking that they would have cool ideas for me without knowing anything. So the irony here is, the more we talk, the more I am certain they would not be able to make an art piece for me. However, I don't give up on people. So I will try and spin it and see, okay, what information do you have that I don't have to pay for? Like, what information do you have available? Anything in public space that I can look at? Because if I was looking for an artist the other way around, the only way I would be able to accommodate you is I can see your art. Right? Like, so when Danny, when you showed me, the first thing you did was, I make flowers. Here's my Instagram. It's public. It's there. And I'm trying my best to show that because we just met. I don't want you to know me, like stalk me or something, or really, like, you can know a lot about me. Like, a lot of things are public right now. You can choose to do that if you want, or you can greet me as a stranger and we can get to know each other by exchanging information. So neither of that happened in this transaction. And I'm gonna tell you now, you might be thinking, nah, this is a one-off. I'm gonna tell you now, over the course of a year, I will have over 100 of these. And not a single one so far who contacted me this way, as in a private DM, over Discord, on an alt account, all of those 100 that happened engaged in nearly everything I've mentioned now. Like 90% of them all engage in this way. Now, who's more successful, Danny? You getting my attention, who didn't do this? You actually didn't do any of the things I'm talking about. So the idea is, how would you increase your success appropriately? If you're an artist that's want people to come to you and solicit you or want to buy into your art without you investing time in them, your public image is your best friend. Like, you, Danny, are the 1% in my life, personally, because you decided to show what you invested in yourself. You didn't go up to someone and say, oh yeah, I know you. I'm gonna have some cool ideas. Would you be interested in letting me create things for you? And I'm like, okay. Can you demonstrate to me that you have the critical thinking and communication skills to understand who I am? And their first comment when I said, oh yeah, I like cool ideas. Do you happen to have any cool ideas about communication skills, critical thinking skills, relational techniques, and how you would capture that in artwork? And what they said was exactly what I said, only they say they can make artwork. And I'm like, I don't think you understand what I said. I'm not even sure if you understand what you said. Because there's no possible way someone who has critical thinking skills, relational skills, understand what I just tested. I tested your critical thinking skills and relational skills and professional skills just now, and you said you can create artwork for me that captures those things and make other people instantly recognizable of my content. I would not believe an artist who said that
knowing that saying that makes it obvious that they don't understand what I said. That's sycophanting. That is what you do to brown nose a cell. And you don't have to do that with me, at least in my opinion. The thing here that I'm concerned about is this person is approaching, soliciting someone in a way that I don't think it's getting the results this person wants. Like, if you're saying you have cool ideas for someone, that is projecting. If you are projecting your work, the first thing you probably want to take a gamble is probably have a profile, a professionalism, and that's the first thing you advertise. So I wasn't given any of that indicator. So I looked at her art, by the way. You can find her art. It has a very so she has like a face, right? And then there's a bunch of flowers. So if you're wondering what her like profile thing is, it has a very artistic face thing, and then lots of flowers around, and then has like that name on the bottom as her thing. So that's consistent. The profile pic is consistent across the channels. And then you look through, and what you see are the usual things. People who solicit for VTubing, like a 2D, like a rig, right? Rigging, a bunch of panels, emotes. There's a tile for OC. She has like 3 OCs, I guess, on the furry side, right? There's a bit of furrying going on, which that makes sense because this is something that is very inherent in Discord, Twitch, and whatnot. And I'm none of those things, so that's problematic, right? You're thinking, I would like, if she is offering her service to capture me, I think it would take less than 10 minutes to understand the things that I share is pretty much not her entire portfolio does not line with anything that I've ever done. So it's that this happens. I'm going to say 99.9% of the time on this Discord. And you might be wondering, if it happens 99.9% of the time, why do I take a chance? Because I believe in people. I took a chance today because I was early. I was very well rested. Yesterday was a short normal stream, so I had time, and that's what I did. And that's what I wanted to share with you. It could have been anybody, by the way, Danny. You just happened to be the first person, and it deals with artwork. If it was like the other person I met a few days ago, Drama, you might have seen in the Discord, encouraging. Drama is a very encouraging person. I would then spin this in a way of talking about communication skills and language barriers. So these are the examples that I talk about all the time. So I understand, Danny, that I'm not going to be drawing pretty much most of the year. I usually talk about artwork a lot, but I don't actually make artwork a lot. However, whenever you make artwork, it gives me an opportunity to talk about your artwork along the way. That is what I can do to basically I repay for those who believe in kindness. It deserves reparations, or that's what I do to motivate other people. So whenever you do work, I get to talk about it. I don't talk about work that someone else believe they deserve attention. So whenever someone comes to me and say, oh yeah, this artist is great, right? This artist is great. the question is, if they can express to me why they think this artist is great, then I will invest in this artist. But I invest in this artist because I'm investing in them, not this thing. So I watched the first episode. For example, yesterday I watched the first episode of Midnight Diner. It was a really beautiful short story. Midnight Diner is like 5 seasons long. There's 2 separate continuations of it, and it's about a Japanese person who maintains a midnight diner. So after midnight, they work for 7 hours and they hear the stories. It's portrayed through like the encountering of stories and people's life vignettes in Japan through a midnight diner. So this was from Drama, who I recently met over the last week, right? And then Drama is very proactive, so Drama is interacting with Churn for encouraging each other to play video games and learn more Japanese, right? This is what is beautiful about investing in people. So hopefully my repayment is that I will continue to carry, because Marie Loren, I don't know what she goes by, but I hope this person understands that they will forever, because they volunteered their public image, anytime this happens again, like the next person who solicits me, I will be talking about her as well. So this might one day be the reason why someone comes across her and she worked on whatever she was doing for a really long time, and it's so different now, right? That's how I form memories. There are a few others recently, but what they do is they just leave, right? They're just like, oh, okay, well, bye, right? But this person stuck around. They invested and they tried to match my energy. So there you go. And now it's gonna be forever in this VOD that will be on YouTube. And maybe one day I'll look back on this in like another 3 years, and who knows, this person might be an awesome 1 million Instagram, and my first thought is, good for them. I'm glad they are successful. Unfortunately, our paths do not align right now, so we do not coincidentally refer to each other. And by the way, I did tell this person that I will be sharing this as an anecdote today, this very day, and maybe for the foreseeable future. And the idea is not to really either favor the person or disfavor the person. The idea is to understand where the person is now and what the situation is. There you go. Let me see. Do you think my cartoon have a chance based on what you've seen so far? You have a chance as long as you don't give up. You said it yourself, right? I'm using your words this time, right? When you were talking to Mika, right? Chances are rarely given. You definitely want to look out for them, right? Learn to see and look for them. But chances can also be made. And that's what you're going to spend your life doing, right? And I appreciate those, like, I'm not ungrateful that people solicit me for artwork. Like, solicit me for selling their artwork, not me as an artist. I don't sell artwork. Solicit for selling artwork, right? It means they took a chance. And one day you might encounter someone like me, and maybe I'll try to reciprocate. And this is the best way I can reciprocate. I make mention of your artwork and hope that someone out there will take a chance on you. I took a chance the way I know I can, and that is to raise awareness of another artist who behaves like all the other 99% of artists that I've met. And I understand that there's one born, quote unquote, one born nearly every second, honestly. Maybe not every second, maybe every day there's a new side hustle artist who wants to go about things without understanding professional courtesy or communication. Like, if it's the rate I have, it's 100 new of these people every year, from my perspective. At least 100 every year, where they got a few early commissions by individuals who have a lot of money, right? So they would ask for a panel or an emote. Like, there you go. Hopefully in the future, they own something or something that's involved in them. But I'm not interested in what you can create. I'm interested in you as a person. Like, I don't have a lot of money to give out. I do not find value in people's work the way I find value in people. So I understand, Danny, that you're making the cartoon flowers in the future, but knowing you is astronomically far more valuable than the one product you'll make in your lifetime. Now, it is still important. It's just, it's not that important to the person. So, like, if I had to choose a competition, the person, its value is off the charts. The product they make, you're gonna have many things along the way across a lifetime, right? But all of this will always be added up to the person you're investing in. So I don't look for people that don't see this. If you don't act like this, or behave like this, or even think of yourself like this, then this is a business transaction. And if it's a business transaction, you have to be professional about it. Because otherwise, it's going to be a sucky road. There are really no feelings involved here. And if you're going to choose to act like it's a business transaction professional, then there are no emotions, no feelings, no empathy. If that is where you want to work in, you got to know what's trendy. Sell on that trend. It's not about you. It's about what sells. So the question is, do you want to be emotional about it? Do you want to sell yourself? And I'm not talking about sell yourself in a like a business way. We're talking about your expression, your love, your passion, because this requires a very different approach in communication. You have to actually be able to express yourself. And the internet has made it very clear that you have many ways to express yourself. This is slow. This is slow. It requires a lifetime of commitment. If you're looking for a hustle, learn to hustle. The internet provides lots of this. You can hustle anyone anytime. Go pick, I don't know, draw gamery art about the latest top 10 games. Pick the most popular and keep aggressively selling to the most popular person. Pick someone who has a lot of money and that they spend money because they can. Pick someone who likes to spend money to make other people feel good. That could work. This is business. And if you're going to sell your business, there's no feelings involved. So whenever, this is what's really cruel about business. When someone apologized to me, like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I'm not trying to sell aggressively or not. It's like, well, don't treat it as a business transaction. If you're really sorry, you would actually demonstrate your empathy and your expression. But the thing is, you already set the tone for being business oriented. That's why I treat it as a professional interaction, because you have no investment in the person. You knew nothing about your client. And when I say you, obviously not you, Danny, because you didn't come, like, we didn't meet. And you, like, it's like you, the first time we met, if you were to, you drop in and you're like, man, your art suck. I can help improve it. That's a business transaction. What you did was, here is what I'm working on. Right? And then you talked about yourself, because you're selling, quote unquote, yourself through your expression. Not, oh, I have cool ideas for you. I'm like, okay, if you have cool ideas for me, can you tell me what do I consider as cool ideas? And you know what? 9 out of 10 times when I meet someone, I usually meet approximately 100 people on live stream. It's a convenient number because it's usually 100. So over a year of streaming, I would meet like 100 people. It's not that big. It's good enough for me to not like digress into oblivion. 9 out of 10 times, it's someone telling me what I want. Or maybe what I want to hear. And this is the internet now. This is reality. If someone tells me they understand communication skills and critical thinking skills, you have to be lucky to have the communication skills and critical thinking skills. Because most people, what they do is they talk at a person. Now, if you want to talk at a person, I would say a higher success rate is to talk about yourself. And that's where we start. And you have to be comfortable with that, because that is how you overcome social anxiety, or you can manage social anxiety. You have to be able to talk about yourself, because if you talk about the other person, that means that you have to actually know the other person. If you don't know yourself well enough to introduce yourself, it is very unlikely that you will participate in knowing other people. So when someone talks about how they're excited about something and what they like, there's a higher chance for me to willing to invest in that person in order so that we can know each other. You can't know about other people if you don't, like, it doesn't work the other way around very well. Maybe if you get really lucky, you meet someone that helps you discover yourself. And that requires bumping into someone who has time for you, who wants to invest in you wholeheartedly. The other times, like most common time, is that person you're talking to is they're probably working on themselves too. So if you don't work on yourself, the likelihood is you're rarely ever going to make a connection with someone else. You don't have time for other people if you're working on yourself, and I understand that. I'm not sure if other people do, like especially younger people. Like, Danny, you don't have to care about me if you are working on yourself. Because I think as long as you're able to express yourself, there are people willing to take a chance. So like, there's the rare chance that happen as long as you continue to make chance happen, right? So these two are very important. You keep making the chances by increasing your level of exposure. And when you get the chance, you may become the rare chance for someone else. I spent most of my life making chances. And then I got lucky on my chance that I made. So now I'm going to be this person for another person and hope that that cycle continues. Online, it's brutal. It's very brutal. And I don't think people teach or expose people on how it works. Like, you look at a content creator and you see what they do, but it doesn't demonstrate humans trusting humans. It doesn't talk about the human exchange. It already happened. That's why you see the product. If you see a video, what is invisible in the video are all the humans involved in the video, like to make the video happen. You can't see that. You can, but it's a trending thing. It's a trending thing. You might be able to see it in behind the scenes. There's a way you could kind of vicariously understand what it takes for human interaction to make a video appear. But to me, I don't think the vast majority of people find this stuff interesting. I think it's a minority that people find interesting because it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to know someone, even parasocially. I mean, parasocially is the easiest way, in my opinion, because you can do it anytime at your convenience. If you're telling me that you understand communication skills and relational skills, the first thing you probably would think about is altering your behavior to understand that you're playing the long game. Parasocial, hustle. Communication, relational skills, long and consistent. So if you're taking a chance on yourself, long, consistent. If you're looking for a hustle, you make what I saw in 99.9% of those artists. You're hustling. And other people might not think it's hustling. For me, it's hustling. You decided to put up like emotes and panels and whatnot. That's for the hustle. Go find someone who's starting up their channel. At least minimally know that they don't have the stuff yet. Right? You have to find someone who don't have panels and the stuff that you can make, at least that. And start there. Because then at least you're targeting the right business. What are the chances that someone... You might be thinking, alright, you're exaggerating. You're exaggerating, MAKU. Like, why would people ask you for things you already have? Out of the 100, all 100 say they can make something for me that I already have or do. So if it's not a business transaction, I can understand that. If it is a business transaction, that's like you bought a new refrigerator and a salesman comes up, it's like, we have a better refrigerator. Would you be interested in buying the better refrigerator that's better than the one that you just purchased? That's a hustle. You're trying to hustle me. And it might not be intentional, but that's what a salesman is. You're making a business transaction. So I'll treat you like a businessman. Ask me, like, I'm going to ask you, how is your thing better than what I have? Ready, set, go. So what do? Your Instagram, all the work that you have done publicly, everything should be thrown in my face and say, see, my artwork is better than what you have. And I'm like, all right, I'm buying that. I mean, I don't care about you as an artist. You don't care about me as a client, but I know for a fact that your artwork is better than mine, and I can pay for that. No hard feelings. You're not going to say, oh, sorry, your artwork kind of sucks. No, you prove it. If you're a business person, you prove your artwork is better than mine, and then prove it that it's so good that I'm willing to pay for it. That's when you have zero investment in the person, and you have zero investment in care in what people think of you. You are a businessman. You're a person selling art. I'm not looking for that, but sure as heck, if like some famous artist, you know, like some famous, I don't know, content creator said like, I'm not here to be your friend. I'm here to sell you something, right? It better be better. Better that reflects its value. My time, my efficiency, that's why you buy apps. Apps buy into apps. It's time, efficiency, there's no hard feelings. Either your product sucks or your product is better. That's it. So if you want that type of relationship, yes, go and ask me what I want without actually knowing anything about me. Because I will treat you exactly the same. I don't know anything about you, so the first thing I'm going to ask is, give me proof. And that's what I was trying to be incredibly polite about. I eventually came around and say, can I have your profile pic? Or like your profile name, your professional name, so I can see what the proof is. And the proof basically proved to me that this person is still working on their art. They're still working on their art while all their artwork is industry. It's the stuff that people need that I don't, because I already have the stuff. I already have as many emotes as I want. I only place panels where I think they are because I make them. So unfortunately, if you want me to treat you like a business person, that's all you get. You get a no. I already have it. I already make these things. But I'm going to do one better. I'm going to tell other people that you are doing this so that maybe they will be interested in your thing. The odds are very low because I don't usually surround myself with people who don't know how to do things. Like, I don't usually surround myself with people who have lots of money or are so lazy, and I'm not saying it's a bad or good thing. There are people who don't have time to do this. Like it's like, oh yeah, artwork, like I don't want to draw. Forget that. I'll make money so that someone can draw it for me, right? Those are the people that this person's looking for. So maybe along the way, I might bump into someone like that. It's like, hey, you know what? I got a collection of names, okay? And over the last 7 years, these 67 people out of the 700 people decide to leave their name, have their profiles and stuff. You can look up any of these people. They might have something for you because you don't want to do any of this, right? That is what I can do for that person. Despite not having anything to offer me, I know that when I took a chance on that person by saying hello back, I want us to win-win. So that's what I'm going to do. And I collect a lot of these names. I actually collect these names on a daily basis, and I rotate them out every 6 months. So in the next 6 months, I will probably bring up this person's name until someone displaces them. And that's what I can do because I can't juggle, like, keep in contact with so many people out of nowhere, right? So until they refresh their connections with me, I don't have any person to invest in. Like, it's great to invest in products when you don't want to care about the person behind it. That's fine. Like, I don't care. Like, for example, if you're saying, oh, but you do you care about everything? No, I don't. Like, my parents use a microwave. We don't know who made that microwave. I put food in my refrigerator, but I don't know who made that refrigerator. So there are lots of ways that are business transactions. Like buying my tablet was a business transaction. Buying my keyboard was a business transaction. So those things don't have people attached to them. I don't have a story about, actually I do have a story about my keyboard. I kind of sort of lied. The reason why I bought this keyboard is because of someone named, dang, I forgot his name. We play OS. There was a time when I used to play OS, and this person wanted to start up like streaming his career, but at the same time he was 17 years old and he was about to go to college. He's since have decided to go to college, and he's still a streamer today, I'm pretty sure. And he told me about how he really liked ducky keyboards at the time. This was like 3 or 4 years ago. So that means he's now probably either almost done with his career. He's Asian American. He's on the West Coast. I'm trying to get his name right now. But these are the stories that I collect. That's what makes my purchases more meaningful. But like, I don't have an attachment to my Ridge wallet. Sorry, not sponsored. My Ridge wallet, right? And by the way, this Ridge wallet that I have is attached to this keyboard that I bought. It's from the same inspiration from that same person. So those are the things that have value. Buying products rarely have more value than the story they bring, in my opinion. And I think the people who will buy, give you a chance, Danny, that's who you're looking for. And the goal over your lifespan, of working on flowers is coming up with as many stories as you can to make your cartoon get grass and eye catch the person who's willing to invest in you, right? So your work, every day you work on something, the value of flowers goes up. Now, I talked about this yesterday or 2 days ago about communication, the value of communication. Over your years, the value of flowers is going to go up for you, right? So it's going to go up the more time, right? Time and value. Flowers is going to go up. Now, there's an invisible cap that I want to emphasize about what I'm trying to illustrate about communication skills. If your communication skills is down here, no matter how high your value gets in what you're working on, if your communication skill is creating a glass ceiling on its value, then someone wouldn't be interested. So you hope that when you work on your communication skills, as you're working on flowers or being around someone who's able to communicate and whatnot, it will allow you to want to communicate and express, because you have to pass whatever the threshold it is for someone willing to invest in you. So if you're creating something, you target someone that your communication skill is high enough, because if you're still working on your product, it is likely higher than your communication skills. In this day and age, your communication skills cap the value of what you're doing most of the time. So you kind of need to sort of every once in a while work on your communication skills just enough. So when you're working on flowers, you're working to cross this line, right? You're working for here. This is what you think you're going for. You're going for, I've worked on flowers enough that I know who to ask. Now, you also have to ask yourself, can you communicate and express that well enough so that it at least meets the investment's threshold? And to me, if I had to parallel this with artists today who does DMs, right? Who does DMs over Discord, their communication skills are like here. In fact, I don't even think they engage in communication skills for business practices, but this is business practice. Business practice communication is standardized. It's one of the things that you can start with. If you can understand how business communication works, it doesn't change very much. This is when you start making it personal. This is personal communication. So that can be anywhere, but it will require more effort than business. So the least I can do is I can test if they have business communication skills, which most of the artists are below standardized business practice. Like they are not even able to meet the bare minimum of treating a transaction like business. So the goal for those individuals, in my opinion, is to at least get up to how to sell something, how to sell yourself. And then you learn how to express yourself through Instagram. Express yourself through your personal stories. Express yourself towards like making friends and networking. Express yourself through your family. So all of that stuff will get you to a personal communication skill, of which you can always default to business communication, because business is the standard. It's the least amount of turbulence that happens. And when you're investing in something like a long-term project, over time, it actually goes up on its own because you have more and more stake in it. So this is where I would say 99% of at least artists that I interact with, they either haven't done it for a very long time, so they're in this box here, and their communication skills is still below business practice. So to me, and I'm not saying other people aren't, I know that I'm not popular, and I sure as hope know that they know that I don't have a lot of money, right? There are a lot of things that are upfront, very obvious about me, which makes me a target for these people. So it's not a coincidence. It's more a lot self-selected that it is this. What are the chances that I will meet an artist over here? Well, I would need a lot of exposure, first of all. So, and then because if I have a lot of exposure, say I have 1 million subs, the odds of this happening are already self-selected. Like, it would be an artist that has a lot of experience, who believe the client can pay for their artwork, and they would want the exposure of their thing. So it's correlated. So I'm not saying that all artists who side hustles and are like not good artists and poor communicators. You have to understand the realities of things. And that means that I know that if I respond to that text, I'm going to get this. Now the question is, what happens if I bump into the 1.1%? If I have time, if I have free time, I'll take that chance and see what happens. Today was not one of those days, and it's not going to happen many, many times over. So one day someone's gonna come by and I have free time, we're gonna try. The chance of flowers blowing up is far from realistic. It's far from realistic, but you shouldn't stop trying, right? That is the goal of this graph. I think if it's not flowers, it's your next work, then your next work, then your next work. If you give up, then your chances are you win the lottery. So I would say, instead of focusing on the odds of this stuff, right, all these end things, you might get there and you might not even notice it when you know that what you're doing is something that will keep appreciating in value. Your life should appreciate in value, right? And hopefully that is sufficient. Working at the gas, working at the gas station and stuff, that is not quite appreciating in value outside of its monetary gain. So that doesn't necessarily deserve your attention unless you want it to be a representation of your identity. So flowers is the chance you're looking for. Flowers is your value. So the more time, you'll always get to remind yourself, at least in my opinion, you'll always get to remind yourself when you look back on flowers, is that it keeps getting more and more valuable the more you invest in it. Yeah, it's your baby. And soon you'll have babies and even more babies. Not like literally, but maybe you might literally have babies in the future. But the idea is your life is your baby and anything that represents in it. So you can even make your work accrue in value, right? You can make your work accrue in value. For me, it's communication skills. The more I talk, the more I interact with people, it's my baby. Because when I sit down and someone asks me, can you demonstrate what you have worked on in your life? All right, let's start talking, because that's what I worked on in my life. Give me something to talk about. That's what I have worked on in my life. I'll spin it. I'll continuously spin it and demonstrate to you that I have a lot of experience with different people, because I take a chance on people. So if you're wondering like, oh, how can you demonstrate your skill? Give me 5 hours and let's talk for all 5 of those hours, and it'll speak for itself. If you don't give me 5 hours, then I can't demonstrate to you what I worked on in my life. I can try to give you a hot take in 5 minutes, but my life is far more valuable than 5 minutes. If you think that my life can be reduced to 5 minutes, then it's not that valuable. It really isn't that valuable. Like 5 minutes, that's nothing. I can try to impart what you have to look for, but then I'd be selling. It's a selling pitch. Now here's a difference though. There is a different scenario. If I already sell myself, and I'm not talking about the business transaction. If I already express myself as a public figure, right? And this is from the perspective of that artist as well. And someone comes to me based on this, then I'm already gigantic. So that means I can spend 30 minutes talking about the most important things. And if you ever watch a content creator, I mentioned a couple of times, Vin, in the last couple, when someone comes to you and solicits you, the idea is that they are probably aware of all the things that you have going on already. So what you have to offer in that 30 minutes is anything that is not in the public eye. So if I'm this person, I would ask this expert, tell me something in 30 minutes that you have not shared publicly. And what I mean by that is, all the things that are public and available, don't tell me about those things. I can go figure those things out. Like, I can find those things. Tell me something that is not communicated in your work, because you are the expert. You have 3 million followers and all of this stuff. I already know those things. I want to ask you a question about this stuff that you do not answer. So when I view people's work, I ask myself, what do I want to know? What do I want to know that is not shown in their work? Like, I can't figure it out. Like, so if I watch your work, right, Danny, in 2030, I watch Flowers premiere. And when I watch Flowers, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I know a lot of things and what the show is telling me, but I have a few questions for you. That is what happens when you know people want the value that you have. They would ask something that isn't already available. That's how they know they care about you. So when someone solicits me for artwork, instant sell. The moment someone comes up to me and they say, hey, I'm an artist and I want to sell you something. I notice that your work focuses on this, but I notice that there's an absence of this. May I ask you why you don't have a background panel for your thing? Or could I help you make a trailer? Because it seems like you don't have a trailer, and yet your content would suggest to me that you may benefit from a trailer, if I may so ask. That would be something that already tells me, despite my low value, right, my low apparent value, I didn't express most of these things. I didn't express that I need a panel. I didn't express that I need a trailer. But if that person could make a convincing argument that they take what I've already have to offer and they say, can I ask you, can I understand something from you? What do you want? And they can get me to express that I want something in 30 minutes that is not available, then I would pay that person anything. Like pretty much anything. Because they've convinced me that I need it. They want it. So that's the opposite intent. So for me, if I had to pitch something, I would go to someone that I know a lot about, right? So this is the like 2030, like who are you going to pitch Flowers to, right, Danny? I would learn as much as I can about particular publishers or developers, and I would ask, so I know all about this stuff. But the question is, do they know that they also want my work? They also need my work. Like, my work offers something that they don't know they want yet, because you did most of the research. You already invested so much into publication and developer, or like have a network with someone that you can pitch to them in that 30 minutes and get them to say, oh, we're kind of looking for a show that does this thing. Like, exactly. This is what I'm here for. I'm here to pitch a show to you that I think your station and your publication would really love, because I feel like if I understand you well enough through your public image and your work and your history, there's a gap, and I think I can fill that gap, whatever that is, right? You would pitch it to your friend Ryan. He knows people in the industry right now. That's fair. You got to work up your network, right? I would say that if you pitched it to your friend Ryan, I would try to get Ryan to explain with the time you have what they want. Like what the people that they want, like the industry. Like I would, because that's not published. Most of the time when you talk about someone who knows a lot of things, they don't give away like industry secrets, so to speak. Like, they don't publish the things that they want, otherwise everyone would know what they want. The idea is they're trying to look for things that they maybe not even know that they want. So whenever I would meet someone who could potentially be my source of opportunity, I do the research first. And then doing the research will allow you to, whatever limited time you have with that person, try to grab some of the stuff, some of the information that you already know Flowers offer, right? Because you know the value of Flowers. So the question is, you're trying to ask the correct questions to see if they are looking for something like Flowers. Like, a publisher would be like, oh yeah, this publisher, they publish a lot of family cartoons. and then you look at their family cartoons, and I feel like they don't have one about this subject, and I think my work would greatly complement them. Yeah, he'll definitely talk to you before you say anything wrong. I'm more than free to brainstorm with you, right? I love the idea of brainstorming. I think the longer you work on flowers, the more answers you'll have. Because the nice thing about working on something, right? As flowers grow up in value, it also means there's more value to give. So you will be able to, in my opinion, spin the value of your show to more people. And that's kind of why that person's portfolio that I saw today is not enough. Their portfolio needs to go up. Keep working on that portfolio, right? Get more clients. Learn that as you work more, there's a higher and higher chance that you can make your work convincing to others. Can you see it? Yeah, it's under... You have to Google this person's name. I'm not going to give you a link because I don't want to practice spamming links. Like, you can search this name. So it's Marie Loren, and there's an ArtStation thing. Type it in chat. Okay. Yeah, not the link, just the name. Yeah. That's what we do. And there's a reason why I'm doing this or emphasizing this, because don't ask for links. Like, what I mean is, if there's anyone that insists on asking for links, ask for the name, because it's good practice. So I want to make that clear. The reason why I'm not typing the link, or because you can, get scammed and whatnot. So you always ask, wait, hold up. Let me make sure this is bringing up the right name. Oh yeah, it is. So it's the first link. It's the ArtStation. So that's when she's done. So feel free to peruse. So basically what I'm doing now is, because of this, at least Marie's work has another pair of eyes. And that's what I can do in response to her kindness on sharing her name, right? Now, it did take over 30 minutes of interaction to actually convince the person that, in my opinion, does Marie have a project as well? We didn't go into that. She didn't share anything. That's probably part of the problem. I don't know anything about her. She didn't express anything about herself. And then she kept telling me that she understands what I'm about, which she doesn't. So that was the communication problem, right? And then I started streaming. I need to stream today, so then that's where we left off. That's where our communication stopped. You're asking questions that are very... You're basically asking the questions that are very important. You know what I mean? Like, those are the questions that I was asking. I'm like, can I see your Instagram? Can I see your ArtStation? Because it'll give me an idea of projects she's working on. But most of the stuff that's on her Instagram and her ArtStation doesn't say anything. Like, you just asked a question, in my opinion, that should have been answered. You see what I mean, Danny? Like, you should have the answer for that looking at her art page and her Instagram, because it's her professional image. You should know that, and I can't. So you asked a question immediately that I was asking myself. I'm like, I don't know what she works on. Like, all those things could have been like 4 years ago. I mean, what is she currently working on? Does she have a work in progress? Right? We talked about that too, Danny, like encouraging you to do a blog and behind the scenes, because Not everyone has the time or the foresight to ask. Now you're curious. Exactly. That's what she could have done. She could have done that. Instead, the opportunities that I've given her, she told me that she would be able to understand me. Like, she would be able to do something for me. I'm like, I don't even know what you is, or was, or going to be, let alone you knowing what I am by telling me that you understand the stuff. And the irony here is how she said it, or what she typed, is what I am. So yes, I might not be so special, or maybe I'm in a minority, or I'm not someone she's targeting and just so happens we cross paths. But generally speaking, the way you answer my question is exactly what I'm looking for. Like, so the way you look and the way you talk and answer my questions tells me more if you're interested in me. But if you're interested in your own artwork, being interested to me, show me your artwork. Show me what you're doing. Tell me what you're doing. It's not both. When you say you know that you have cool ideas for me, that's exactly the opposite of demonstrating it. Telling me something that I already know. I'm sure lots of people have really cool ideas, and I'm gonna think a lot of... Was she embarrassed to share it? No. She actually explained why she used an alt account. She only uses her official alt account for clients. So you would have to be accepted, like you would have to be interested in her artwork before she contacts you on her official account. And she says she understands that it can be construed as a red flag if you contact other people on an alt account. And I would say that is accurate. So I don't think she gave me the impression that she was embarrassed. She was doing it as a safeguard or something like that. Again, communication skills are a little bit limited. So I can't answer these questions. You can't glean these questions if the person is not expressing it properly. Like, she talked to me in a very professional way when I started talking professional. So like, you know, in the beginning it's like, hello. And then I say hello back, match her energy. And then she said, can I ask a question? And then I typed something incredibly technical. And then she typed something technical back using my language, which I honestly, to be really frank, it sounds like a ChatGPT aided thing, but maybe not. But what happened is the technical thing that she typed back sounds a lot like me, and not in a great way, in my opinion. It sounds like me without her, as in it didn't sound like she was expressing anything other than using my words backwards. So like that, then what happened is I treat it as a business transaction. So I started talking business. It's like, can I see your proof? Can I see your public work and your portfolio? Because that's probably the only way I'm going to determine if I'm interested. And sure enough, it revealed most of the things that I have come to understand. It's not personal, it's business. Your work reflects something that would target a content creator who's just starting up, who needs these things, and at a quality that reflects the time you invested, which is that. So that's where the business transaction ends. That we're not here to know about each other, because she didn't give me that impression that she was expressing her own interest and what those cool ideas are. And she was expressing that she's interested in knowing my concepts or having cool ideas for my content. That's not true either, because I asked her literally, what do you know about me? How did you come across me? How Like, do you know what I mean when I say these things? And hear me out. I was very direct with her. Whenever I get a solicitation, the first thing I look at is mutual servers, because that is pretty much what I state first. It's like, I'm pretty sure you just looked at the Wagotabi server, because I'm not part of a lot of servers. Like, that's one of the biggest reasons that I'm not part of a lot of Discord servers, because most of the time the lowest effort to solicit someone is to look at mutual servers and then spam them. You hit add friend and then say hello. Add friend is one coincidence. A mutual server is two coincidences. And a blatant, non-personable greeting is another coincidence. 1 + 1 + 1 coincidence mean you almost fall in the 99%. And for better or for worse, you have to start somewhere. So we started somewhere. I said hello back, and that's how it devolved into it. So we didn't exchange any personal things. Hear me out. There was one time an artist and I talked about like family matters. Actually, it wasn't. It was a little bit more than that, and it was someone who worked as a community manager for a game I used to play, and then when we talked about it, we connected through artwork. See, this dynamic is very different. You can see already that the dynamic is incredibly, it's almost like a breath of fresh air immediately, but this doesn't happen too often, where like we connect based on our mutual games that we're interested in, but they happen to be working for a specific game that I also happen to be playing, and we have a creative role and investment. Then we spend a lot of time talking about our extracurriculars, which were artwork dependent. And I know their name as well, and it's very I don't talk to that person anymore, because since then I've severed ties with the game itself, like the creation part themselves, and I don't even know if they're around anymore. Well, there. As for you, you love when people see your cartoon and like it, and you haven't gotten any negative comments about it. If you do, or if you don't, I believe, Danny, you'll probably make it work, right? Whenever I usually don't think of, like, I get video comments every once in a blue moon, right? Because low viewership and whatnot. But I think of, if I get a comment, I can do something about it. So if it's, whether they're negative or positive, they're comments, and you can use it in some way, right? I hope you continue to get positive comments, right? At the same time, if you get a negative comment, I'm pretty confident that you'll be able to handle it and do something and use it to your advantage. That's being proactive about your baby, right? I'm not entirely sure if many others are up for that challenge when it comes to expressing themselves. So if we are talking about, was she embarrassed to share, that's probably the type of mindset that would be concerning. When you're talking about, if you're embarrassed to share and you're selling something and you're doing professional work, rarely is the thing about negative comments or worrying about other people's comments, it's going to happen. Like, it's gonna be a mixed bag. When you become a professional and you're selling things, if you're embarrassed to share, then I don't necessarily believe that you have the capacity yet. That doesn't mean it's locked in place. You are prepared to be selling something. That's my like really arty business unfeeling situation. If you are embarrassed to show your work and you're selling something to someone, check your humility, your pride, your arrogance, your insecurities at the door first. understand those things. You have to understand your anxiety, your insecurities, fear of negativity, or even overpraising if you have imposter syndrome. Like, that's the opposite. If you are ready to sell something, this doesn't go away. This does not go away in a professional setting. So, to me, if someone is selling something to me, the first thing I assume is they don't have these things. Or they have minimalized, they have either managed or minimized the impact of this on selling. Because when someone buys something from you and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, like, that's a little embarrassing. Like, can we double check on it? Because I didn't realize that you wanted me to, like, make this, and I'm uncomfortable with this because I don't have a lot of experience. It's like, well, yeah, of course, because you're being a professional about it. You're not being expressive about it. Expression is when you tell someone what you can do. A business transaction is you're telling the other person, I can do it for you. So how do you be professional about it? I pay you $100 and you guarantee that you will keep on working on the project until I am satisfied. That's a professional transaction. So, like, money back guarantee for my satisfaction. I pay you $20 and you're going to have to keep working on it because you are certain you know what I want, right? That's a guarantee. That's what you do when you're a professional. If you're looking for expressive things, you have to convince the person they want to buy the product you want, like you want to share. Like, you have to convince the person that they're willing to invest in you. So that's a different approach, and it requires different types of communication. Like, if you know you're so good that you can even predict what the other person wants, then you got to put your mouth where, you got to put the money where your mouth is. The alternative is you're so good and so valuable that you can share your thing and the other person's like, take my money. Those are different approaches. And this person decided to choose this approach in selling. They tried to sell me that they are able to give me a satisfying product. And I'm not convinced. So I asked them for their portfolio. And I'm not convinced. It's a business transaction. It's not personal, it's business. If they sold me a story and tried to tell me about what they're working on, and like maybe they want to practice something and engage in me and say we can work together and trust in each other and stuff, I would have been more sold because I would have learned more about that person and the value and potential that person had. That's not what happened. It rarely was. Like, the door was slammed shut immediately when that person told me they knew what I was talking about. They knew that they were able to produce artwork that captures critical thinking skills and problem solving skills and relational skill development. I don't even know what that looks like. So are you telling me that you're someone who's an amateur artist that somehow is telling me that you could do the job for me when I have no indication that you actually even understand what I said? I think that's overreaching. That's something that I don't engage in. That's empty promises, disappointment, and not even disappointment with the opportunity to learn. It's more like a quick buck. You'll probably make stickers out of your characters in a way to show people flowers. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, that's cute. I often thought, the sticker idea, right? The sticker idea is fantastic. And to relate to when we met, Danny, in Inktober, the reason why I made my art into cards is because I had a similar idea. Because they can look at it as buying cards. So like maybe in the future I will start to make more cards and then maybe like hand out cards of whatever I'm doing for Inktober. So the idea was to start working on ideas where, oh, you know what, to celebrate, I'm just gonna, send out some birthday cards, or send out, like, if it's someone's birthday, I will mail them one of the cards, handmade. I will get some practical pens and some inking tools, and I'll make a card and then send it out. That's the idea. It's a while away, but making stickers is fantastic too. Send you some. I will. Maybe if I don't have like the tools to do so, I can still at least email people, right? Like, oh, hey, Danny's birthday is coming up. Let's go and draw something for it. That kind of thing. I am working on my digital art in that way to some extent. Like I asked Chern when his birthday is, which is, he mentioned it was in June. So when it gets closer to June, your birthday is January 26th? Oh no. All right. I'll have to think about it. Maybe our deal about drawing flowers and stuff is coming to fruition early. I'll make a note of it. January 26th, huh? Okay. Let me write a note to myself. There you go. Right? Sorry, that's what I wanted to share today. If you wanted to talk about artwork, that was my pocket short story for today. Hopefully you were entertained, and I hope you're feeling better, Annie. Hope you're feeling better.
背景
Okay. You were entertained? Well, I try.
快適
I take it. It's beautiful. It like something that I can really. I talked about this with drama the last 3 days. One of the greatest gifts you can have, that is most available to everyone, is to try to put a smile on someone else's face, and you win. Like it's a win-win. So, if I have an opportunity and free time to engage in human interaction, I will make that story useful for the both of us. So now you know a little bit about the person that I've met, and you can look at their artwork and see if you can understand a bit about them. I know quite a lot from the person's ArtStation page. I didn't even realize ArtStation is a thing, so I learned something as well. I might look at how ArtStation is being used, instead of like Pinterest or Instagram. It's an interesting site. It kind of reminds me of DeviantArt as well, stuff like that. For the record, I don't spend a lot of time looking at people's art, largely because I don't attract artists. Not in your way. Like the way we met is through Inktober. And I can tell you now, the vast majority of artists that I knew was during that period of Inktober. There was one artist who tried to sell me art online. Like, there was one artist that I kind of appreciate. They found me live on Twitch while I'm working on an Inktober piece to sell me art. And if you're wondering how did that conversation went, it went the same way as the other 99% of artwork over Discord. So But I really did appreciate the idea that that person found me live on Twitch before doing that. The most disappointing thing is I'm not quite sure if I was talking to an automated response robot, because there are those. Maybe one day when you become someone who needs to start up social media and stuff, Danny, I'm sure by that time you may end up encountering some of these things. There are really, let's just say, comforting bots now where they can take audio inputs from a source and then generate a response. And then when you finally answer yes, you might then start speaking to whoever was selling, because eventually you have to speak to the human. But a lot of times there's a side hustle, and people that do this a lot now because content creators and influencers sell these. You can automate the solicitation process. And to me, that's an instant no. And that's why I like about if you understand communication enough, you can develop a way where you can tell if you're speaking to a human being or a robot. Like in those conversations. Your cartoon could not reach Michael Jackson level. What? Well, I'm not entirely sure about that. We'll keep that on the back burner. But I can tell you that one day you'll likely encounter an automated service. And an automated service, you can say yes, and then you can see if you can talk to the human behind that automated service. That's usually what I go for if I have enough time. But if you spend a lot of time talking to people, you can come up with your own methods of deciphering if you're talking to someone or ChatGPT. I guarantee you this is not going, like, it's almost foreseen and guaranteed that this will increase in frequency, not decrease in frequency. I would say 50% of the 100 that I mentioned are automated. They are automated DMs. They are facilitated by ChatGPT because they echo my vocabulary and diction, even though I was deliberately trying to be dodgy about it. Like, I switch different voices to see if they stay consistent or reflexive. And when the longer I talk, the more I'm absolutely certain this person is using a AI response for that. And you can be really weird about it. You could literally decide to leave typos in just to see. Or you can ask a question. Usually what I do is I ask emotional questions. I ask emotional and expressive questions. And I ask them in a technical way that if they respond technically without answering the emotional impact of my question, then they're using a ChatGPT response. And it gives it away really, really quickly, honestly. And eventually, though, that doesn't guarantee that the human is not there. Sometimes when you try to trick the workflow, the human comes back, and the human has typos or diction changes and voice changes. And that's who I want to talk to. So I will at least try hard enough to see if I can get a human to show up and they start talking emotionally, right? Like, honestly, if someone says, wow, you sound really rude and condescending, could you like back up a little? I'm only trying to sell your work. It's like, thank you. Now I really do feel like I'm talking to a human being and not a ChatGPT response. That's what I find out, because I'm not the person who's selling. I'm the person who's buying. So stop talking to me like a robot who keeps reflecting exactly what I say without saying anything. Like, you go up to someone and like, hey, I have the car just for you, my friend. I'm like, oh yeah? What kind of car is that? It's like, it's the car that you want. I'm like, okay, well, what is the car that I want? Well, if you give me something, I can tell you what the car can do. I was like, okay, I'm interested in a car that can stop humans from being stupid around me so that I don't ever have to worry about being in a car accident. And like, well, there are cars that can help you drive safer, or can drive safer and alert other people so that you are less likely to be in an accident. It's like, that's not what I said. My friend, that's Mr. Robot. That is not what I said. I said something so absurd, and you still said something that is illogical. Or illogical in human sense. It's logical in a bot sense. Like, that could solve the problem. I agree. But I didn't ask for that. I asked for something illogical. You did not prove to me that you even care. Like, if it is in fact a human being, right, who's selling it, they're also a businessman, and they are avoiding telling me that they can't sell me something. That's the aggressive sale. So you're either a hustler or you're a ChatGPT bot that's interfacing with someone who, like, you can operate these things. You can have several instances of ChatGPT doing this, and then when something occurs, if they snag something, they can manually start interacting. That's who I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone who either decided completely reliant on ChatGPT, so that's basically giving me the middle finger, and then, or there's someone behind the bot who's monitoring it, and I'm looking to talk to that person. So when I call up customer service, I know it's unlucky for them, maybe, but if I call up customer service, the first thing I talk to is a human being. If I can get a transaction and a procedural done using automated service, I will. But if I have a problem and I'm purchasing something, I will likely talk to a human being about it. So yes, you do go through automated services, but typically I would end up wanting to talk to someone who won't misunderstand my intent. People have the audacity to sell AI art for commissions. Yeah, that happens. Actually, there's a big controversy right now that happens to coincidentally being involved with one of the artists that I've been watching for a while, and that it has to do with the AI art thing. And it's pretty big right now. It's kind of like blowing up a little bit. So I'll let you guess, but I don't want to talk about. I'm gonna be a little bit more professional about this with like Twitch and YouTube guidelines, but that person is making it public on their own, so they are gonna try to fight the unfair treatment and whatnot, and it does have something to do with the representation of AI art in the professional field. So outside of that, I'm not an artist, so I don't have, or a professional artist even, so I don't really want to throw in any commentary on that, but that does happen quite a lot. Communication is the same, in my opinion. Actually, you know what's cheaper than AI art? AI conversation. Look, it's not a competition. Sorry, I kind of made it a competition, but both AI art and AI conversation, they're both cheap. Very cheap, easy to come by. And I would love to sit down with a communication specialist or a communication coach, or maybe even a learning coach, to talk about AI quote powered learning and AI communication, and see what they think about it. Because for me, when you replace something, when you replace a human craft with something automated that is, it's for convenience, it's not for quality, it's for convenience. And one of them is communication skills. If you have social anxiety, using ChatGPT to write your essays and to talk to other people and write your emails and create appointments and whatnot, that cheapens your skill that you're compensating for, and it outputs mediocrity in its place. So yes, AI can produce communication skills that are reflexive of the average, and that's going to be your cap on all your work. So it's like if you had a work that you were working on and you decided, I'm going to use ChatGPT to represent that art in communication. Well, it's however good ChatGPT is. It could be good enough. I don't know. Like, I don't know how good ChatGPT is going to get. I just know that you're not this good. So what will people do in the future if they're trying to recruit and scout people? They're going to test ChatGPT, not you. And then eventually, sometime in your life, it's going to come out that you can't talk. You can't speak. You can't present yourself. That's kind of like one day when you're using AI art and someone's going to ask you, can you make something? And you said you didn't reveal that you are using a crutch, and it'll come out at some point. The thing about communication is it will come out very, very quickly. Like, if someone is using AI communication to sell me an artwork, the very first time we're going to talk and brainstorm about artwork, it's going to be obvious that your communication sucks. Because you're not going to sound like the AI. Like, wait, what happened to the guy that gave me 100-step protocol to decision making and in all the artwork pieces suggestions for the 100 stage work? You know, I talked to this person. It's like, oh, may I ask, why did you place like on step 15th of decision making? How would you illustrate that? And the person's like, I don't know. I used an AI communication tool. Like, that's exactly, okay, well, where's my money? That's probably what I would say. And that's AI art. Where's the process? If, I mean, I might get hot water for this when someone says like, well, you know, if the results create that, it's like, well, yes, it can still, I'm telling you, AI communication and AI art can still do tasks. It doesn't, though, give you anything about the process that the human did. And personally, once again, I like to invest in humans. So even the human that is using the AI art, I'll give you a chance. I'll give you a chance to explain how you can use AI communication and AI art to build something through a process that I and you would agree on. So if you're using AI art and AI communication and stuff as a tool to build something even more, then the human will come out in it. It will be explained. So when I ask that person, what do you know about me? And you can't even answer that question when you have an AI tool that can possibly answer it based on the public data that I've freely given. It takes you one click, right? It takes you one click to analyze all my YouTube videos and pump something out. If you can't even do that, then explain to me what makes you think as a human being. I know this time I know that I was speaking to a human being, because what the internal logic behind their responses didn't make any sense to me. What was disconnected was the response that they had showed how little they knew about me. So that makes it human, right? An AI would not explain something as though they don't know it. They would tell you that they don't know it because it's not in their parameters. That's very different. It would be the same as me saying, oh, sorry, Danny, I don't have enough statistical converging evidence to answer your existing question. However, I will give you 3 or 4 methods in approaching how to ascertain the answer of your question by using these following steps. finding the person's name, Googling it, finding if they have an Instagram page. That's what AI sounds like. Because AI doesn't give wrong answers. They give precisely a logical outcome that a human would not violate. A human would not say, oh yeah, I know a lot about critical thinking. I know exactly what you want as a cool idea for artwork. That's illogical. So that at least tells me it's human. ChatGPT wouldn't say that. Literally, ChatGPT would not say that. So AI can be tricked in communication skills. You ask a human response and you check its logic. Most of the time, humans, when they're asking to buy things, they're often emotional buyers, especially for creative pieces. So you ask them for an emotional response. Like, hey, do you know who I am? A chat bot would say, well, if you can share with me some ideas, then I would get to know you better. That would be a chat response. A human would say like, well, sorry, like I didn't have time to look up your thing. Is it important? That would be a human response. Like one of hundreds of human response. And you know what? I didn't even get that from the transaction today. Basically, when you search yourself, it basically say things that are public. Yes, it say things that are public. And if there isn't available information, it would state that there are not enough available information, but it would suggest ways you can figure it out yourself. That is how AI communicates. So if it sounds like that, which ironically, I do sound like that from time to time, right? However, there's often a gleaming of human empathy in there somewhere. Like, oh, you know what? Yeah, I wish I knew though. Like, sorry, there's not enough public information about that, but man, it would be very curious, right? It would be kind of fun to know what this person actually does, what you said. The thing, you're like, oh, you know what? But now I kind of just want to know. That's not an AI response. AI response do not tell you emotions or curiosities or things that doesn't exist in the data set. A lot of it is curiosity, offensiveness, defensiveness. AI doesn't do that. You can try to imitate it in a way, but it would still come out logical. So like if you're being offensive, it could be defensive logically because it noticed that you started using offensive words, right? Words that would on average communicate offensiveness. So it can take those type of actions. It would be incredibly reproducible though. Like Danny, if you and I were friends, right? Like before this, and I said something offensive, it would come off as offensive. But if you and I become really, really good friends and I say that same offensive thing, it might not come off as offensive. To a chat robot, it will always be offensive because that would be the average determination of what it is. Like for example, telling a joke that you made fun of someone, it would have a very accurate inclination to do so based on the average. Human intuition does not necessarily work that way. In fact, human intuition is often irrational. So, and you can use that to your advantage. Essay writing, personal creative work. Like oftentimes people focus on diction, the things that are like cheap to, like for example, AI art has that thing where like, oh, just look at the hands. They don't ever get the hands right. I'm like, do you know how bad my hands are? Like if I added there's a chance my hand is so bad people might actually think it has 6 hands. So we're not talking about semantics. Semantics is fine. The question is, does the AI art convey a story? And what I mean by that is I can even rationalize, like, I'm okay with AI art in a way that I can gain a story from it. The question is, when I look at this artwork and I go to the person that made it, that person should be able to convey the story to me. They should convey the process to me. They can make things up. It's perfectly fine. Like, I will accept that they make everything up. So how are they going to make it up? They could use ChatGPT to make up the story. Sure, let me hear the ChatGPT story. I'm like, okay, I have some questions for you about the ChatGPT story, my friend. And if they can use ChatGPT to answer that question. The rabbit hole keeps going until the point where that person who made the piece wouldn't want anything to do with me anyways. Because I'm not looking for ChatGPT. I'm looking for the person. You can spend your entire life having something manufactured for you and have no feelings in it. That's perfectly fine. It's not my loss. My loss is how disappointing you are when there's no part of you in anything you do. Right? Like, if you don't have a fun story about AI art, why are you even making the AI art in the first place? For money? Like, explain to me why money is so important, and then I can be your friend. I'm looking for the human part in this. So I'm not saying AI art is the demon or AI conversation is the demon. I'm talking about how people lose themselves. Like, they lost themselves. And that brings a tear to my heart. Like, my heart bleeds every time someone's like, oh, I did all these things. I create all of these things. They're all so good. And I ask them, can you explain to me what makes them really happy? Can you explain to me why painting this thing made you really sad? And what did you get from that? Because I'm looking for connection. So if someone continuously use AI art, AI communication, automation and stuff, I'm gonna want to specifically find out, when is it that the human side of them did something in all of it? Because nothing is, like, to me, not many things are valuable compared to the human themselves. So if they, in fact, took a lot of pride in their AI art, they would be able to explain the pride in their AI art. They would be able to explain why they use ChatGPT. So if someone says, I have major social anxiety, that's why I use ChatGPT to do all my business transactions. Explain that to me. Tell me about it. I might actually buy whatever you're selling, more likely, if you were to explain to me why and how and what you think that would make me feel like if you use ChatGPT to talk to me. If you can explain that, I will buy it. If you can't, and you say it's not worth your time because you're so acclimated to using AI bots to do all the talking for you, then good riddance. I don't have to buy anything. You can go and buy flower stickers. Bye. Listen, one day, this is what I'm gonna do. Like, Danny, like those cards, right? So there's something about the cards I didn't talk about. If I'm gonna send a card from like Inktober, like a Inktober inspired card, right? I never showed what the back was. The back is still empty, Danny. Like, I didn't write anything. Inktober was about drawing. I didn't write anything yet. Do you know what's going to be in the back of the card? A story generated by ChatGPT. I'm kidding. It would be a personal story. There will be a personal story in the back. And obviously, I probably sign it. That's my response to people who think that their work, their life, their value can be replaced by AI. Like, if you want to replace your life, your human experiences by AI, feel free. My thought is, I hope that your life produces value and things that make you feel good, because replacing the things that you like to do is telling me you don't like to do it. That's the point of convenience. Like, I don't want to run to the grocery store, so I replace it with a car that mechanically helps me get there. I don't care about that act that much, right? So when you start replacing your art and your communication, that immediately tells me you don't care about your communication skills with someone else, and you don't care about the art process. So then I want to find out, what else do you care about? Can you explain to me why you're using these things? Because if you can explain to me that you're suffering from incredible social anxiety, we can bond with that. Let me show you, or let me try at least to show you that communicating actually is possibly the solution to that social anxiety. Sometimes the problem is through the convenience that you're avoiding. So if you think you can't draw, using AI art doesn't really facilitate that insecurity. If you don't care about drawing, you can use AI art to do something else. And I want to hear why and how. That is using a tool for the betterment of yourself and the things you have to offer from someone. Like, for example, if you don't have a leg and you use a prosthetic to do something else, that is what AI art is to me. Like, I want to know what a human does with the tool, not the tool representing the human being. So if your work is represented by something you didn't do and you feel bad about it, I don't think anyone else should feel bad for you because you did it to yourself. And I know that sounds really victim blaming, but there was a choice being made before you were a victim to begin with. It was the idea that you sold yourself short and you thought that you liked something, but now you profiteer off of it by saying you don't like it because you replaced the process without doing it anymore. And I think we're going to tie it back to language learning. When you say, I don't like studying, stop telling people you like learning. Like, if you like language learning, stop telling people how to avoid learning. Right? This is AI learning now. We're going into AI learning. What is AI learning? Vibing immersion. That is the new wave of language learning. You vibe through immersion. That doesn't put any part of you in it. You skipped over association. You skipped over association and retention. So if you keep vibing, like, all right, you're just gonna watch a bunch of anime over and over again, and that learning part that you're doing is vibing. And I'm like, okay, well, then that means you don't like learning. That's the part that you don't like. You like acquiring knowledge by skipping the learning part. You're trying to skip the learning part. You're getting smarter by reducing as much of the learning process as possible. And that would be how I tie back to language learning. I think most of the time people try to convince me on how much they like learning by doing the least amount of learning possible. They want the results. And what is that? AI art. How do you get a lot of results without learning anything or minimizing learning? AI art, AI communication, language learning hacks. Most of these things get you a result. The best result you can have with the least amount of learning. What are the rewards of learning and what are the rewards of process? It's hard to express. It's a human condition. So when you talk to someone who uses AI or AI communication, language learning hacks powered by AI, the first thought you're gonna say is, how do I connect with you in the human process? They're like, oh, I don't know. I just vibe. I use this app. It like generates all these things for me. I don't really have any attachment to them. It's like, okay, how's that working out for you? Like, well, I got a lot of information. I know a lot of information, but then I tend to forget them. And yeah, it just kind of sucks. Like, it feels like grindy. Like, I don't feel very rewarded by that. It's like, yeah, because it's completely void of the human process. You legitimately did not learn anything, in my opinion. You stored a bunch of information, but you have no working knowledge of how it went in, how it went out, how you enforced it. The more you substitute, the less you do. The more you get instant gratification, though. AI gives you instant gratification off the wazoo. Like, you enter a prompt, it's like, I did something today. Like, how do you create this? I did something today. And that's instant gratification. Does that give you the delay gratification that leads to habit formation, that leads to life values and a sustainable self-esteem? No, it does not. Most of that doesn't. In fact, most of this is baked in social anxiety, fear of embarrassment, fear of feedback, fear of mistakes, perfectionism, nihilism, inadequacy, because you're easily replaced by a process because you don't actually even understand or appreciate the process because you've never done it. Like, the more you do something, the more irreplaceable it feels. So, have you done art long enough to know that, yeah, the things you do, I don't even think AI wants to do. Like, how I make my art, how I made Inktober, I can't see AI even wanting to do that. It's irregular, it's irrational, it's it's inefficient. It's the human process. AI isn't interested in the human process. It gives you the impression. It gives you an impression that it has logic that depicts a logical human process. The human part isn't solely the logical part. It's all of it. And it's integrated into the experience. So whenever someone says like, oh yeah, I hate starting the artwork and conceptualizing. Like, do you like the artwork? Like, do you like doing art? It's part of the process. Oh yeah, no worries. You need to go? You're gonna go eat with family? Nice. I hope you feel better, Danny. Thanks for hanging out for this time. Like, for this amount of time. It was a privilege. I hope you keep your, your chin up. Keep on working on it. Feel better. Get back to work. And I look forward to talking about all the updates. Right? With that said, I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break because of the digression. I'll be back. Good luck. Enjoy your meal, Danny. Alright, let's get back to this. This might delay my... Hopefully it doesn't delay too much tomorrow. Okay. Alright, let's get back to this. What? Oh.
Futeki.
Sticky. Or unsuitable, inappropriate. Done. Kai.
博覧会
Oh, there, Akita.
騒音
Oh.
伸ばす
Bus.
延長
Oh.
ご覧
Hold on. Huh. Oh. What? Maybe like looking at. Okay, fine.
漏水
No see.
適当
Oh. Okay.
未婚
Ikon. What? Akuda. Heck. What is that? I remember the read more than my mnemonic. Wait. So the pirate, right, in the tree came down, offered a pillow.
一覧
Ichiran. Oh, this is this
深い
Kai.
快
快
楽
楽
電飾
転職 How you spell decorative lighting? Oh wait, we don't need to. Oh. That's it. Okay. Numamu? Oh no, Nisumu.
盗む
Nisumu. Yo. Wait. That's not
盗作
Osaka.
取る
Yo.
露出
Roshutsu. Roshutsu. Uh,
翌
翌
朝
朝。預ける
預ける
預ける預ける Nope.
懐
懐
かしい
かしい
盗撮
盗撮浮気
浮気
浮気翌日
翌日
翌日電気電気作
電気作
電気作
快
快
速
速
購読
購読 Reading subscription 服食
復職
食Hata? Oh, wait. Oh, no, this is just
Haku.
Saku.
照
照れ
れる
る照れる変ね
越見
越見越見心よい
心よい
心よい
魅力
This immediately said Kan. No, wait. What about this? Kanran.
観覧
Kanran.
球根
Yukon. Mei.
背後
背後
証明
This is special, Right. Goal? There's goal.
強盗
Goto. Oh, burglary. That's not how you spell burglary. Oh. Ukiyo-e.
浮世絵
Ukiyo-e. Weak. Oreru.
漏れる
Hata.
旗
Ippu.
切符
Nazushi. Nazushi. Ne? No. Mazu. Mazushi.
貧しい
Mazushi.
浮く
Uku.
購入
Konyu.
Nurasu.
Nurasu. Oh, wait.
盗品
Tohin. Okay. Product. Okay. Okay.
Enkisuru.
Enkisuru. Um. Choco. Or non-stop. Direct and non-stop are kind of synonymous.
せ
That's it.
翌年
Yokunen. Alright. Not bad. Oh, yeah, we're picking up the two for a little bit. 317 next. Okay, hold up. What the? No, that's definitely Hokkyoku. Tozai Nanboku.
東西南北
Tozai Nanboku. 317. Where is that coming from in the next 24 hours? Oh, we're probably only gonna get the first half, right? Alright, it's still before the day, so our digression was fine. Alright. Okay. 317 tomorrow. We're only gonna end up doing half of it because it would take us what? When does the review come up? 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah, that was from yesterday. All right, so we're gonna do our definitions of our new ones first. Lineage. Addition. Scarce. Push. Below. And that's it. Now we do our mnemonic keyword. Cake. Han Solo. Bowl. Obi. And Ma. Plus cooler. Alright, so now we're going to do our reads into our definitions. Right. Saku, fence. Meat, alluring. Kawa, dry up. E, lineage. On, marriage. You, play. Ki, flag. Sho, illuminate. Kai, pleasant or fast. Han, addition. Bean, or, bowl, scarce. Eki, suitable. Yo, deposit. En, prolong. Yoku, the next. Ran, oversee. Natsu, nostalgia. Oops. Oh, push. Makura, below. U and uwa, float. Roll, leak. U, token. Ko, purchase. Etsu, go beyond. Shoku, decorate. Soul, boisterous. Height. Satsu, photograph. Ko, steal. Nyo, smell. Nu, wet. Mei, peace. Alright. Solid WaniKani session with a little pocket anecdotal story for today. Yeah, good luck to that one artist, right? Mutual exchange. It's great to evaluate and look at communication skills in a larger setting. Stories land on your lap. I take the opportunity for it, right? Thanks to Danny for some company. Gotta exchange some stories. Obviously, I'm a bit making up for the lack of artwork. I only draw once a month every year, most of the time. Although I'm starting to get another example, another reason to draw. Maybe I'll start drawing birthday cards and write a bit of story. That's a great way to represent what I like to do. You can draw something, decorate it. Maybe for now we'll do it digitally. Draw something, embody it with the person I'm thinking of, and then on the back, like a figurative back, we'll like write a story on top of it. And then maybe in the future we can print some of those things out. We can do some practical art or construction work to bring it to life. That is a thing, and it could start now. I'll have to think about it as I have more time. Alright folks, that's a wrap for WaniKani today. If you're gonna watch this later, arigatou gozaimasu. As always, feel free to follow along, pick up WaniKani, give it a try, let me know what you think. I'm more than happy to entertain any yapping, exchanging of ideas, anecdotes, what have you, right? keep each other motivated, be interested in your own life. If you're able to be interested in your own life, seek maybe happiness, fulfillment, perhaps then that will set the stage to be involved in other people's lives and share mutual connections. It's kind of the idea of today's digression. Until next time, 皆さんまたね。見てくれてありがとう. Right, thanks for watching. I'm gonna get up, stretch a little bit, walk around, and I'll be back for my Hanza Hero session. Thank you, thank you.